All right. Hey, everybody. I am so excited that you guys are joining us for Tea with Brittany Lee this month. I just want to say welcome. I have some really exciting guests on with me this week. I am so excited. Dan is here from Key Data Dashboard, and he is going to give us a walkthrough of Key Data Dashboard and how it can help you absolutely dominate your market. I'm just going to say hey to a couple of people that I see. Hey, Ellen. I just talked to Ellen this morning, actually. Hey, Amber. It's good to see you. How are you doing? Julie, I see you here. Hey, Kyle. How are you? So, hey, Leslie. It's good to see you on here. So I am so glad you guys are here. And honestly, I am getting ready to make such a super crazy, awesome announcement. I have been just like waiting to make this announcement. So Key Data Dashboard and VRM software have newly inked a deal, and now we are actually going to be offering, Key Data is offering all of VRM's clients, only VRM clients now. I just want to make that very clear that VRM clients right now, you are going to get Key Data Dashboard for 1 whole year for absolutely free. What? That is so crazy. I am so excited. You guys, this data is going to absolutely transform how you do business. It is going to make you so excited and so good at what you do, and you're going to see so much uptick in reservations from the data that you're going to have access to. So not only are you going to get a whole year of Key Data Dashboard for absolutely no money at all, but you're going to get the second year at a reduced rate. I mean, this is unprecedented. So if you can tell, I'm super excited. And I know you guys know that I'm in the marketing department, and we have talked about multiple times in the marketing department how impressive this tool is and how important it is for vacation rental managers for you to combat some of the stuff that's coming at you, especially with the OTAs being the way that they are in the industry. So we just want to say thank you so much to Key Data Dashboard. We are so excited to be partnered with you guys. And we know that our VRM customers are going to be really excited. If you guys are excited, go ahead. You can put your excitement down in the chat. I won't judge you. I will just enjoy and reply. But I just want to tell you guys, so Dan is going to walk you through exactly how you're going to be able to use this information to market to your clients. And I'm so excited. So please pay attention. Because he is going to walk you through exactly how you're going to be using Key Data Dashboard. And then at the end, he's going to give us information on how you can get signed up and get all of your information plugged in and ready to go. And this is all going to be in the Tea with Brittany Lee follow-up. Don't worry if you're not watching this live. If you're watching the recap, you get this access too. So don't worry about it. You will get it later. But I'm going to hand everything over to Dan. And Rob is also here. Rob Johnson is joining us as well. But he's going to be the fly on the wall today. He may pipe in and say a couple of things at the end if he wants, but I just want to welcome Daniel and thank you so much for being here today. And we're really excited that we're going to be able to learn how to use your tool and effectively market in our industry. So welcome, Dan.
We are pumped up and super excited to partner with VRM on this. And it's great to have everybody on board as our new clients, so to speak. So I'll walk you through what the tool will do and just how robust it is. It's pretty remarkable. Our main goal here at Key Data Dashboard is to give you insights into your data that you've never been able to see before. Truth be told, many of the different reports that you'll see here are obtainable sort of through your property management system, but it takes you a long time and you got to mash together spreadsheets to even have an idea of what your key performance indicators are. But we've looked at all of your KPIs, is what I'll be referring to a lot, that stands for Key Performance Indicator. And that's really what our entire product is based upon. There are 29 different KPIs that you're going to be able to choose from to run reports on and give you insight into your market. And I pulled those up right here. There are crazy KPIs in here. Now, as a property manager, the biggest things that we hear all the time, as with pretty much any other job, is that there's not enough time in the day and there's not enough of you to go around. Well, this is supposed to give some of that time back to you, as well as give you some tools in your quiver that you'd be able to use to attract new owners, keep owners you have, and work more effectively to make sure that you're not leaving any money on the table. So these are the 29 different KPIs that you have insight to. There are some that might look a little funny because they are the sum of several different things. And you can see that we've built in a little glossary in the list of KPIs that tells you what every KPI is. And some of them get crazy, and this is where it saves you a ton of time. In order to find out your revenue per available sleeps or your revenue per available bedroom, you'd have to do some math in your spreadsheets to make that happen. And so you'd run a couple of reports, and then you'd be able to put in a couple of formulas, and then you'd be able to maybe figure this out. But this already does it for you. And that's what's really revolutionary about this tool, is that it's going to save you a ton of time because we've already essentially run all the reports. So let's talk a little bit about where we're getting data from. We're getting data directly from the property management system. So we already have a relationship with VRM, and they'll hook us up into your data. And all you have to do is opt in. We already have the key main point of contact for each one of the VRM customers, and we'll reach out to you and ask for access to your data. That's how this process is going to work. But we'll connect directly to VRM, and then we'll pull several times a day all these KPIs so that you have up-to-date information. And we'll do that on a daily basis. There's no scraped data, no fuzzy data. If you're looking at how we're getting data from the rest of the marketplace, we're also connecting to their property management systems. So everything that we have is accurate data. We're not, like I said, scraping data or having self-reported data. So it's all extremely accurate. If you see a KPI, if you don't see a KPI here that you would want, chances are it might be named something different, but I can almost guarantee that every KPI you can think of is already listed here. So let's take a look at your data. So I'm on the Performance tab up here. There are 6 tabs under the Performance tab. We'll get into this tool. The Performance tab is really all about you, and it's going to save you a ton of time. We've had people who said that they have people running these reports 20 hours a week is how they get all this information. They're logging into their competitors' websites or getting on their competitors' websites and finding their data and comparing how much they're renting a 3-bed, 2-bath with a pool that's beachfront and comparing that data to their own. It's a time-intensive process, and we've got that all figured out for you here. So if I look at the Market tab, this allows you to look at if you're spread out up and down the coast or wherever you are. This allows you to look at how you are in each market. So whether it's a combined market or specific counties, we'll work with you to figure out what your markets are and set those up because everybody's a little bit different. Every state's a little bit different. We understand that, and we're programming that into our system. You can choose specific date ranges. So you can look at year over year. You can look at just a month. You can look at just a season. For example, spring break is a big one. So you'd have spring break 2018, and you can set your specific dates for your spring break weeks. Then you get into the KPIs. Like I said, we have many to choose from, 29, and you can choose whichever one you want. And then you can filter. So this is the way that you can filter so that you don't get 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a pool that's oceanfront and 3-bed, 2-bath that's walking distance to the beach. And you can filter it by property location. You can filter it by areas. So you might have one area of your region that is extremely high end, and you might have one that's a little more budget friendly. And so you don't want to compare those properties because that would skew your data. This is how you fix that. You can also come over here to this Guest tab. And what the Guest tab is showing you is it's where all your reservations have come from in the last, well, whatever your date range is, but all the reservations that have come in that specific date range. You can then drill down and you can see that 3,646 people came from this area. Then you can drive in and you can say, well, 1,100 are coming from Atlanta. So what is this value to you? You can use this for email marketing. You can do this for direct mail campaigns. You can use this for even reaching out to your past guests and just trying to get them to come back. You already know which properties they stayed in. By the way, you can filter by specific properties. You just type in the property ID here, and you can do multiple properties, and you can see just where the guests for that property have come from, which is pretty cool when you're considering that some property owners maybe aren't getting the business that they want. You can reach out to the past guests and try to get people to come back to that house. You can filter by any number of bedrooms, any number of amenities, and a lot of other things as well. If we get into the property details page, you're going to be able to see what each property's performance has done as far as revenue goes. You can choose from any one of those 29 different KPIs. Again, you have a lot to choose from, but and 5 additional KPIs that you can compare next to each other. So I did this just in preparation. I put in the month of July, and this is a great way to see what your owners are doing. So your owner comes to you and they say, wow, you really didn't make me any money in July. Well, you stayed 3 weeks. So it really takes away a little bit of that frustration of not knowing why an owner might be upset or not understanding why the revenue isn't there or something. It's really quick and easy for you to see this report and see, hey, my owners are getting a little bit out of control during a really important time of the year for us to make a lot of money. In the coming weeks, and I do mean a couple of weeks, we're already working on it, we'll have the unit view done, and then you'd see this, this property name would be hyperlinked. You click on it and you'd see a screen just about that property. It will include things like property revenue budgets, and you can see where you are in the course of the year, whether you're 60% of your way to the goal that you gave the owner. You can also use this to attract new owners by saying, hey, the average 3-bed, 2-bath oceanfront home with a pool rented for $10,000, or we made the property owner $20,000 last year. So you can say exactly what they could expect and really work on giving them a little better idea of what to expect. Going into groupings, we group the properties based on the things that are in your property management system. You can also set custom groups of properties in the back end of the system. In the settings, you can go in and say, hey, I want to do wedding-friendly properties and choose just wedding properties, for example. But I'm going to click into here, and you can see that these are all beachfront, beach view, lakefront. You can choose a lot of different other parameters as well to view your data by. And this is just showing us for the date range that you chose and the KPI that you chose, plus 5 additional. If we come into markets, you can see how you're doing in specific markets, which is pretty cool, just helping you get an idea of where your revenues are coming from. And then we have historical. So you can look at any number of different months. Right now we have select a month, and then it'll show you 24 months of data compared next to each other in a year-over-year comparison. You can view it as a table or a bar chart. Now I'm going to get into the comparative feature. When we look at the comparative feature, this is something that's really groundbreaking, and this is really meant to give you the ability to see, wow, I am just not getting the bookings like the rest of the market is. Pretty much all of you have probably had the experience when you say, man, we're just having a rough July, and somebody else says, well, we're having our best July ever. Well, you can try to figure out why. It's important to know a couple of parameters about the comparison feature. One, we don't allow the comparison to turn on until we have 4 companies in any market. The reason we do that is we don't want you to be able to single out who those companies are. it's also important to understand that you do not have access to specific types of properties that you don't have. So if you don't have 4-bed, 3-bath homes, we're not going to show you 4-bed, 3-bath homes on a comparative basis because there's nothing to compare to. It is all anonymous. That's the whole point of the comparative feature. It's just to help you figure out if your occupancy is where it should be, if your ADR is where it should be, if your revenues are where they should be, and if they're in line with the rest of the market. We do reduce the number of KPIs that you can compare. Obviously, there are some things that you wouldn't want to compare. So these are the ones that are available in the comparison set. I'm going to leave that open just for a little bit so you can kind of eyeball it a little bit and see what you would be interested in. But we're really focused on just giving you that insight. Now, this example that I have up for you doesn't have a comp set because we don't have enough companies in their market yet. To be fair, we just started selling this this month. We had pre-sold 70 companies or 90 companies already, 90 markets, and we are rolling it out now pretty hard. Obviously, the addition of the VRM marketplace is going to be pretty huge for us and for VRM because they're jumping on board as one of the first people, and we really appreciate that. And all of your companies will provide a lot more insight into the markets. We're going to go into the market comparison details now, and you're going to be able to see the markets next to each other. So you can see how you're doing versus the market and versus the region. In any one of those groupings, it's just like the other screen where we were showing. You can see bedrooms, location, sleeps, property type. And then we go into the market screen where you can see you versus the market and region, and just a bar chart makes it a little more visual. And then the last screen that I'm going to show you right now is the pacing screen. This would be my home screen. If I was a property manager, I would want to walk in and see this every morning. You can choose 3 different KPIs that you want to see every time you log in, and you can see that just on this screen, just a real quick visualization of what your revenues look like. You can choose any one of those KPIs that we already showed you on those other screens, so any one of those 29 different KPIs. You can choose all your dates, and this is a really cool feature that really sets a star on our information, and that is the ability to have an as of date, because it's really important when you're comparing data to say, well, where were we as of June 1st in 2017 versus where we are now on June 1st for 2018. So it gives you an idea if you're pacing to be the same or worse or better than last year. Again, you can choose specific markets, or you can filter by any number of different things, whether it's bedrooms or the number it sleeps. It really helps give you accurate data comparison, if that makes sense. And then we go ahead and we can see monthly revenue booked, which again, and here's an example of all the different parameters that you can use to filter. This is a beta client, and they've clearly been using it, and this is how they filter their properties, and this is the level of granularity that you can get down to. Really helps you get insight into how you're performing on specific types of properties certain times a year with specific amenities. So a nice clean visualization. With that, I kind of buzzed right through that. So I'm going to open it up to questions now because I wanted to keep it quick, because I know when we get into data, it can get really fuzzy really fast, and we can really talk under a table, everybody who's not interested in the very granular specifics. So I'm going to open it up for questions now, Brittany.
Absolutely. That's awesome. And I do actually already have some questions lined up for you. But I wanted to throw something in that you didn't really cover, of a usage for the guest area information. That is extremely, extremely valuable if you guys are doing any kind of advertising on Facebook specifically, because you can then target your area specific information and your ads to those people based on their area and maybe what kind of weather patterns they're experiencing, what kind of holidays and things like that they're going that are going on around them. You know, sometimes schools get out a little bit earlier in some states, a little bit later in others. So you can use this data and this information to really market to your clients in a really unique and very specific way that has never been available, to be totally honest. And this is just amazing to us that that you're going to have the options to be able to market this way and to really target your specific marketing. Also, you know, this would help with email marketing campaigns. You know, if you know that a lot of your concentration of people come from, let's say, Ohio, you know, you have a lot of people from there, and Indianapolis. Well, you know that, you know, most of them are going to drive to your area. So you would want to say, here are some great places that you would want to stay along the way, or here are some great stops to make sure that you see on the way. So giving them something that's really super specific to them, that's going to really grab their attention and help them a lot. So I'm going to dive in. I have a couple of questions for you, Dan, if that's okay.
Of course.
All right. So Ken asked, he asked like 3 questions in one. So I'm going to ask them separately so that they all get answered correctly. So number 1, how do you guys get the data?
Okay, so we do a direct connection with VRM. We pull your data direct through an API. The reason that we did that is because, for example, if you go into Google Analytics, you're only getting online bookings. If you try to scrape things off of VRBO, there's just a ton of opportunities for error there, along with other problems with double listings on VRBO. You can gross up your rates. And so all of those different things make it a good idea for us to go direct to the property management system. It's a little harder and a little more complicated, but VRM's made it really easy for us to connect. They're one of the first ones that allowed us to play with their API and get the data. And that made it so it's really simple for us to pull that information directly from VRM.
Awesome. Okay, so the second part of that question that he really had, which I feel like you kind of addressed, he said, if he opts into Key Data Dashboard, does my data go into the quote-unquote pool of data that you guys pull from? And I feel like you answered that, you know, with the last question. So yes, absolutely, your data goes in there. But I wanted you to kind of address this last question. If I do not participate, does VRM still share my data with KData Dashboard?
Sorry, can you say it one more time?
No, that's totally fine. So if he decides not to use Key Data Dashboard, you know, say he didn't want his information going up there, would VRM still share his data with the Key Data Dashboard?
You would be opting out, so no.
That's correct. And I wanted you to say that and like to hear it from me that I believe that right. Your data is not going in anywhere unless you give us permission to do that. Now I do want to kind of stress some of the benefits of your information. So your information, number 1, I want it to be really clear that it's all completely anonymous, and Dan totally addressed that and said that earlier, but it's completely anonymous, so you're not risking your business by putting it up there. You're simply putting out general information to people in your area, and in return, you're getting general information about their company and what they're doing as a performance and benchmark.
And again, I just want to point out that what we do is essentially, I mean, if you have 4 people and they take all the money that they have in their wallet and you put it in a box and shake it up, you'd say that the total room. The room had $500 in their pockets, and of that room, you had 10% of it.
Yes, that's a really.
Does that make sense? So
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, we're keeping it at that general level. So you wouldn't know which 4 other companies were in it unless you talked to them. You wouldn't figure out anybody who's an outlier, right? So you just know that there's, I don't even think you're going to know. I don't know the answer to this question, so I probably shouldn't have said it, but I already did. But if you don't even know that there's 6 companies in the pool, you just know that there's 700 properties.
That's a really good point to bring up as well. Okay, so Ken, if you have more questions, please feel free to put those in the Q&A box. Anybody, if you have questions, that's why Dan and Rob are both here to help us understand how to use this tool and how it can really be super effective. So thank you so much, Ken, for your question. And then also we have Kyle. She asked a question and she said, you mentioned property budgets. Are there areas where we work within your dashboard rather than all data being filtered in from VRM?
Are there areas where you work within our dashboard that are not from VRM? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes. So I've just gone into the settings. You see the little gear up here. And this is where you can do all kinds of fun things. This is the really minute, like working this like a pro. But you can create custom property groups. So this is where I talked about you can create just wedding properties and you want to see how those go. So you can choose it from those drop downs where you can compare by property groups. You can also set up specific seasons like spring break or Christmas or Thanksgiving, however you want to do that. You can set up custom area seasons. So this is all an area where you can kind of play with it more than the data that we're given from the property management system. Your yearly budgets, we already have this, but this is for total, right? So if your target is $4 million for the year for total revenue, you would put that in here.
This is Rob. I'll jump in real quick.
Yeah.
The specific question was about the unit budgets when you were talking about the unit screens. And yes, you will have the ability to add budgets on a per unit basis and then be able to measure against those performance-wise throughout the year. So you may see that some units are tracking above budget, some are at budget, and some are below budget. And that'll give you the ability to then target and focus marketing efforts on those units that are underperforming, or to do deeper dive into the dashboard through the different KPIs to determine why they're underperforming. I hope that answered your question.
Awesome. So I have one more question. So if you guys have any more questions, go ahead and throw them in right now, super fast.
Hey, I just want to, before you ask that question, yeah. I just want to point out the screen that I'm on right now, if you can still see my screen, we actually have the projection amounts up for each property. Our programmers have been working furiously, and they must have got this done today because it wasn't there the last time I looked, which I believe was yesterday. So it's already there.
Awesome. That's wonderful. I'm super excited about this tool. This is going to be amazing.
And if you're worried about your customer or your employees having access to specific types of information, you can actually control that right here on this user screen. You can give each user a different screen and give them a different accessibility level using this screen. So it's another pretty cool little piece.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that feature because, not everybody needs to know everything all the time. And it can be a little confusing. Sometimes you want to just give people what they can handle. So that's amazing. That's really good that you have custom user settings.
Right.
Okay, so I did get one more question after this one. So Kyle says again, are you currently working with HomeAway software property managers? I only ask because that's widely used in our area.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. And then Kyle, again, she said, do you also have reports rather than only digital? So I'm wondering if she's probably meaning like, can you download the report and send it to somebody? Like if you wanted to send that to an owner or something like that.
You bet. When we get that property screen done, you're going to be able to export the report in a PDF and use that for owners. You can use that for prospective owners and say, hey, look, here's a property. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath oceanfront with a pool and a hot tub and a microwave. And you can say, those are the same things that you have in your property, and this is how much we can make you in the year.
That's awesome. Well, those were all the questions that we did get for today. So if you guys have more questions about Key Data Dashboard and VRM's relationship together, you can always feel free to send us a ticket at help@vrmgr.com, and we will do our very best to answer it. And if we can't answer it, then we will reach out to Key Data as well. And I want Daniel to just cover how you guys can contact Key Data Dashboard to get set up and get started.
You bet. I hope you're still have your screens open. The way that you can get in contact with us is just go to keydatadashboard.com and then click on Contact Us, and you'll either be able to email us or you can also give us a call. So that's a great way to do it.
Wonderful.
You can shoot me an email if you have any more questions that come up at daniel@keydatadashboard.com.
Awesome. And I just want to mention, for those of you who may have missed it at the beginning, just remember that you get, through VRM's relationship with Key Data Dashboard, you get 1 year of using Key Data Dashboard absolutely free. You can cancel anytime, and it's all the terms and everything will be going out in an email to you guys following this webinar. You can rewatch this webinar. I'm going to have it recorded, and so you guys can rewatch it at any point. And so you get 1 year of Key Data Dashboard absolutely free if you're a VRM client. And you get the 2nd year of Key Data Dashboard at a discounted rate. So super exciting. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you reach out to us. We are super excited about this relationship. And I just want to thank all of you guys for coming out for Tea with Brittany Lee today. I hope this was exciting and informative, and let us know if you have anything else. And I just want to say thank you again so much to Rob and to Dan, both for being here today. We are really excited about this relationship with Key Data Dashboard, and we can't wait to do great things together.
And neither can we. We're super excited. Welcome to the family.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next month on Tea with Brittany Lee. Bye.